It's the Ep by Ep with Scot and Tobie. We're talking season 1 of Taiwanese anthology show On Children. This is episode 1, Mother's Remote, and we're going to be talking some heavy spoilers. See you on the other side. Yes, welcome
today, Scott.
Welcome to the Ep by Ep, which is just a branch channel. So we've been talking about this for a little while. We just haven't quite found the right show.
Yeah, still not sure we have, by the sounds of your comments. Although, we'll get to that.
That being, we're going to find a TV show and just watch an episode and talk about that episode.
Yeah, exactly that. And if this does kick off and people start listening to it, please recommend something for us to watch, and we'll, if we can find time, we'll jump on board and watch something. The wackier and the more random, the better. I mean, probably not Peppa Pig. I've seen enough of that to last me a lifetime.
Just for this first one as a tester, I think I was trying to find if something neither of us had seen,
which you successfully
fresh. Did. Actually, it's actually not quite what I had in mind, because this is, I don't know if anthology is the right term, but each episode is a brand new story.
Yeah.
So I guess we can cut it short at any point. But I thought there was 10 episodes, but there's actually 5, I think.
Yes, what it is that when they originally aired, they were broken up into 3 episodes per film. So on Netflix, they average about 1.5 hours, just over 1.5 hours in length. And when they originally aired, they were broken up into 3 episodes or 2 episodes, depending on the length of the one episode on Netflix.
The show in question is On Children. Taiwanese.
Yes, indeed.
I don't think futuristic's the right word. It's kind of like Black Mirror, right? It's a Taiwanese version of Black Mirror.
It's got elements of Black Mirror, definitely. It's very sort of like, it's about the social pressures and parental pressures and just pressure on youth.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the title.
On children. Exactly. Good spot.
Let's dive. So that makes it, I think there's 5 episodes, which isn't too bad or undoable.
I think we're going to, I'm definitely going to say no, we'll do all 5 and we'll come out the other end better for it.
Less listeners, better as people. So a fairly obscure show. I've sort of seen the little picture, and these things do intrigue me. I can watch odd animes. I never really stick with them. I can watch season 1 and go, that was fun but ridiculous. I don't think I'll go on. I guess we just dive into episode 1.
Episode 1 of
Mother's Remote.
Mother's Remote, yes. See, I didn't even know the name of the title before I watched this episode. I just literally saw that it was on Netflix in the UK, pressed play. That was
okay.
I did no research, no looking into it whatsoever.
Do you want to run through the plot?
We'll both do it. You start and I'll jump in here and there if I feel you've missed anything out, because I think I preferred.
Kind of felt a little jarring to start with. We get this kind of montage. It's very soft focused, this show.
Yes.
We can talk about that after, but I couldn't help but thinking this is a company that makes like mini melodramas, which are huge with terrestrial TV watchers. And they're branching out. Or that was the style of it, at least, whether it was intentional or not.
Yeah, it's very close-ups, lots of close-ups, lots of soft depth of field.
Not the highest quality cameras.
Not that it felt cheap. Not bad. It didn't feel cheap at all. I just straight in off the board. I loved this opening montage.
Oh, okay.
I really liked it. I thought what it did is it set everything up really, really cleverly and really, really quickly.
Explain that montage to us. I think
so. You had it opened on like a high-rise building in an office overlooking a city with a couple that were going through an early divorce. Well, not an early, just going through a divorce. It wasn't early at all. For me, I picked up very quickly that the husband was pretty sane. Not that you spend any sort of time with him beyond this montage, but he seemed definitely the saner of the two. And then you had the mother across the table, and this montage established that their early relationship, that they had a child, that she started to become very controlling. She had cleaning issues. She was on top of everything. Everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be pristine. Everything was in its place, had a place and in its place at all times. And if anything deviated from that, then she would fix it. And this became a problem to the husband, to the point where he couldn't live in that family dynamic anymore. And they found themselves in this divorce settlement. And she basically, he's saying, you can have the house, you can have this, you can have that. And all she wants is the child. But the whole time she's very fixated on a glass of water, and there's lots of bubbles, and there's like a little figurine of a child that she sort of drops into this water, although she doesn't drop it in, it's in her mind.
Right, it's sort of floating around the edge, on the top, underneath, on the side, around the block.
Yeah, and I thought that, what surprised me was that was not foreshadowing.
No,
I really thought that was going to be foreshadowing of what would happen later on in the story, but it wasn't.
Do you not think there's a sort of metaphor of like the sort of that she's drowning the kid?
Oh yeah, definitely. But he didn't. I suppose metaphorically she'd drown him.
Cutting to it more like you think it was going to be. This is an unspoiler ahead. You think it's going to be like, oh, the last thing, like a little toy that she was left with when everyone left her or something.
Yeah.
I think we only see it in this strange camera styled montage, which doesn't connect with anything.
No, it doesn't. I think it
appears or something.
It pops up on the top of his monitor a couple of times, I think.
Okay. So it's just linked in that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's actually the opening montage, and it establishes that the father agrees to relinquish parental guidance and
not the nicest thing on him, huh?
No,
really, to get the story where it needs to be, he's just written out.
Yeah, that's him gone. Last time you see him, apart from in pictures.
I guess we just cut to this kid's day. He is 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, in and around that age, definitely.
Okay. Like his mum is definitely grade heavy. And so he just kind of wakes up, talks to his mum, gets a cab to school.
Yep.
I guess he misses the bus.
Yep.
Goes to school, like he's goofing with his friends.
And they're talking about this event that they've got coming up, graduation day.
Yeah, I guess school's coming to an end. Exams are coming. We're in the last half a year, which puts him around 16, I guess. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So, just a regular kid.
Yeah, pretty much. Nothing out of the ordinary. Seems quite friendly, good morals, well-rounded.
I quite like the goofing with his friends. I don't know, just that sort of immature, like, oh, the girl likes you.
Yeah, that was all really quaint, cutesy.
I guess there was this ridiculous part where the girl was just stood next to them, and it was like taking it in turns to impress her, and then it was like, well, you say something then, in front of her.
Yeah, it's your turn. Come on, mate, come on, talk to her.
And then they almost rate what each other said to her. Then they go, well, that was a rubbish thing to say.
It's quite funny. So they have that sort of that interaction with this girl that comes down and asks to borrow one of the boy's friends to lend her mate his coat. And he's like, that means she likes you. That means she likes you. No, she doesn't. I
agree, though. I'm on their side. I think that does.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that she then walks past him wearing the jacket and gives him a wry smile. It wasn't cold and it wasn't raining.
Just for the shit.
But yeah, it was very teenage. It was almost a step up from primary school playground, kiss and run away type thing. Yeah, definitely.
And I got to say, at this point, I thought the majority of our story was going to be around this set in this school. We're going to spend a lot of time on these steps. So the kid goes home, and I guess we see him like fudging a school report.
Yes. So he's clearly, he knows that if he doesn't get the right grades, he will not be allowed to go on this graduation event, which is a 3-day event. And he's basically built these little stamps that will replace the grades, will act as the correct grades for him to get through past his mum's iron fist and on this event with his mates.
And so she knows, she can sort of feel it, right?
She finds the box, doesn't she, under the bed? She's doing a tidying up.
Oh, okay.
So he comes home from school. Well, there's a bit where they're printing off the. Does this happen now, or does it happen afterwards?
Like report
actually?
cards?
Yeah. Does that happen the next day?
See, this is where the sort of dreaminess and the way it's shot and these soft filters of the show at times sort of play against it.
Mm-hmm.
You sort of get lost in what's a day, time passing, what's reality. But I guess to cut it short, she's basically not happy, and it's like, you're not going on this trip. Correct me if I'm wrong, just get us ahead a bit. They kind of argue, and she storms out. She's sitting on a bus shelter.
Yeah, she just buys a pack of cigarettes and to sort of calm her nerves at this bus station. There's an advert playing. And again, this comes back into what you were saying about a minute ago about the dreaminess.
So this ad is, she's just watching this huge ad on a bus stop with audio. And it's like, hey, are your kids unruly? Like it's like a tech ad. It's like, we can do a thing that
we can help you.
We can help you. Like, then it's like this picture of like this kid hugging his mum, and like, we can make your kids good kids.
Yeah, perfect. Basically,
right.
Would you want them to get the best grades? Do you want them to do well in life? Do you want to set them up for the future? We can make that happen. And yeah, so she's basically sat at the bus stop, and the guy in the advert on the bus billboard asks for a light.
Yeah, the guy just rocks up next to her.
So now this, for me, I was just like, is this a dream? And that was very surreal.
And but does it show their conversation?
And very briefly, he basically says, do you want help?
Right.
And then it cuts away. To the very next.
We'll come back to this in a little bit, because by the end I've forgotten, but what this kind of was for me. And so we sort of fade to black, as you were.
Yep.
I'm tangled up in all these new wires. We fade to black, as it were, and then we wake up, and we sort of cut to the kid, and it's his alarm, and his mum's making breakfast, and it's all a little odd, but we don't put our finger on why.
Yeah.
He sort of runs out, misses the bus, gets in a cab, and the cab driver says something. He's like, "Yeah, you said that to me the other day."
Yep.
And
yesterday.
And so
yeah, he rocks up at school, goes into the classroom, and he's just like, what the hell? This is all a bit off kilter. I had these conversations, these are the same interactions with my kids, my mates in the classroom, which is the first time we see that interaction with the mates in the classroom. But then we go outside to the step section again with the jacket and the romance stuff.
Like, this was the pin drop for me. I thought I wasn't paying attention at the beginning. But
no, this is the moment the pin was meant to drop.
Right, because the girl walks past with the note and the jacket, and the kids are saying the same conversation, and the kid is just sort of, I guess he doesn't know if it's deja vu or a dream. He doesn't, I mean, we don't know what's going on, but we're like, okay, we've definitely done this before. And so he's, I don't know, he's just a bit gobsmacked. He just keeps leaning into the conversation, like, are they going to say this? Yep, they said that. Is this going to say this on the note? Because I've read the note. Yes, it is. Sort of goes home to the end of his day, stamps his card with the fake stamps.
Yeah.
And he just wakes up, and it's that same alarm. It's the same position. He misses the bus. He's in the cab, and he's like, definitely something is going on here.
Yeah. He still goes home, still stamps a piece of paper, hands it to his mum. And it's at this point, his mum turns to him and says, I've given you three chances? How many more chances do you need?
Right. Like, she sort of not breaks the fourth wall to us, but to the son. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's sort of, I know you're cheating the cards. Basically, you got to smarten up. You got to study hard. You got to get these grades for yourself. And she gives him an affirmation, doesn't it? The three things I need you to repeat to me: I will do well. I will study hard, and I will do it for my mother, or something along those lines, isn't it? I can't remember exact three affirmations, but they become gross, though. And so she pulls out a remote, like a flat out TV remote, as it were, with not many buttons, and it's glowing. And she just hits a button, and the kid wakes up again, and we're back on that same Wednesday. And we kind of just montage, just like he just gets stuck in this day
over and over and over
for quite a while. I mean, despite everything we're saying sounding kind of, oh, that's intriguing, I think it was about Hey, I Text You. Or did I text you, Toby?
My God, this is boring. Something like that.
I don't know. I was very aware that it was like an hour and a half. I guess I didn't know that this was 2 parts. I just thought it's 1 episode and it's a contained story. It's an hour and a half. And at this point, we're like 20 minutes in.
We are exactly 20 minutes in.
And although it sounds intriguing, I'm worried we've done a better job than they did. I don't know. I was just like, okay, yep, time travel, but I don't care. I don't know. Like, there's no real attempt to explain how this machine works.
No.
Which is fine. By the end, it's like, okay, it's fine. And this is what I was going to say. It's like the mother kind of did a deal with the devil. This technology is not seen around on any other poster or ever really referred to outside of this couple.
No,
this
exactly that.
We
never hear about that company again, do we, actually?
No, that guy never comes back.
No.
And just sort of to be clear, because I don't think it's clear for a while, I didn't quite get the mechanics of what was going on. But this button just rewinds time to that one Wednesday. So it's not like she can control the time span on it. It's just hit that button and we wake up on the Wednesday. Like if a week passes, she can still hit that button and the kid will remember everything that's happened. She will remember everything that's happened, but the rest of the world is back at that Wednesday morning. Which is amazing technology.
Yeah.
No one just buys a lottery ticket and says, we don't need grades. Let's just become millionaires.
Yeah. It just.
But it's a surreal fable, right? Like it's not going to deal with those things because it wants to say what it wants to say about.
It's got a message, and she basically enrolls him into
a cram class. They call it
cram class,
which is just after school
group. And she goes, "You'll have 10 lessons, and after those 10 lessons, you will be fluent in whatever it is that you're learning, and then there'll be 10 lessons in something else."
Basically, we get this montage of him being pretty bored and miserable. Like she's just stripping away more and more the fun stuff till it's basically wake up, go to school, study hard, come back, study.
Yeah.
But he finds his little escapes, right? Like I guess part of this cram is in the library.
Yep.
And so I guess here's where we kick off something interesting. He just finds some cool doodles in the corner of this library.
Yeah, and this is a caveat. He's quite the little drawer. He does like to doodle himself. So finding these doodles is quite a moment for him.
He kind of joins this doodling. Like the doodles are of like a small cartoon girl climbing up like this desk. And so he doodles himself in, like giving her a bunk up and holding her hand and stuff. So eventually he meets the person who drew this, who is just... I don't want to say pixie manic, but she sort of represented the life that he wishes he had, right?
Yeah. She's got the free spirit.
And she is charming. I'll give her that.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's lovely. She's really sweet, and just full of very artistic, full of energy and joie de vivre.
And so they sort of hit it off. They talk about their drawing styles and stuff. I don't know what she sees in him, because he's pretty miserable at this point. He's got very little charisma. And not to say it's his fault or not, but anyway, they sort of hit it off. And so, sorry, to explain, he's not going back at time at this point.
No, his mum's happy with him.
Right, as long as he plays by the rules, has his, I will study hard, I'll do it for my mother, I'll make you proud. Yep. He just gets to know this girl tentatively through their library sessions, and it just spreads out a little by little.
Yep.
But at one point, the mum, like, I'm going to give you your phone back, I think.
No, he asks for a phone because...
Right, for study purposes.
Yeah, for study purposes and to access the internet and all that sort of thing to sort of further his studying and growth. So she reluctantly agrees.
She does not, so far, she's not come off as likable, right?
No, there's nothing about her that's likable.
But I guess the sad thing is, she's never come off as like, when I was young, I had nothing. So I'm doing this because you've got the opportunity I never had.
No.
She's just effing stern.
Yeah.
A buzzkill.
Yeah, she's just, I think she's just been broken by
previous life and divorce.
Her divorce, her life, her mental state, everything is she's just a crumpled woman, and all she's got is the success or the hope of success for her son, and cleaning, and that's it.
I guess a certain point of
she does have a job.
Her son.
She's quite successful in her job by the looks of it. They're well off and they've got money and stuff.
Yeah, like money's never an issue. He just gets to know this young girl more. I think he goes to a house at one point and he's just
meets her parents, and they're creatives, they're artists.
He's almost more depressed about how much the life she has. Like she's basically encouraged to be this artistic free spirit and pursue that.
Yeah.
But eventually the mum is just suspicious because the kid's not that subtle.
Yeah, he's not coming home when he's meant to come home. And it's just not quite on the rails as much as she'd like him to be on the rails.
So she uses his phone to track him, and she just catches him holding hands with this girl. And then it was kind of tender and nice, this relationship build.
Yeah.
Like they have the kiss in the phone booth. Like
that was great. That was really sweet. I quite like that bit. He kisses her on the cheek, and she's like, "Oh, what did you do that for? That was wrong. That was a bad picture. We need to take another one." He goes to take another picture, and then kisses him on the cheek and legs it out. Genius.
This sweet little is that how you hold hands? And
the first time the fingers holding hands, interlocking fingers. So I don't want to do it like that. We'll do it our way. Boom. Yeah, and then the mother springs them, and surprisingly, this caught me slightly off guard, invites them both out for dinner, and they go and have a lovely tender moment where you think, okay, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe she's come around. Maybe she could see that he's really trying. She could see he's in love, and maybe she does want the best for her son, and that's all she wants. And this, oh no.
But yeah, she does keep that metaphorical twitch in her eye. So you are I guess it's almost like we're hoping that this pulls through, because it's like, you still study at the library. And she's like, even because the girl was like, yeah, we study. Like it's just better to not study alone. So I don't know if they're lying or not. The montage doesn't go show everything, but maybe this could work out. And they get home, and the mum kicks it up a gear, and it's just, you're never going to see her again. And you've got to promise me, study, the mantra thing.
Yeah.
And the kid's sort of having enough here. And she's pulling out the remote. So you've got to promise me. And he just can't. He's like, I'll do everything else but this.
I'm not going to not see this woman again.
And she's sort of waving the remote around, and he's on his knees and
begging. And he basically says, if you press that button, I will never like you again. I will hate you for the rest of my life.
And she just says, I can deal with you hating me for a while. And hits the button. And we wake up back that Wednesday. What do you reckon, 2-3 months ago?
Yep, easily.
And he sort of bombs it to her house. I know he's young, and I wouldn't have played it cool either, but he does not play it cool.
Oh, it's heartbreaking for him.
He just whacks on her door, and he's like, it's me. Tell me you remember me. And she kind of takes it cool, She's like, who are you?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know you. Can you get off my... And then the father comes out and he's like, go away, crazy guy.
And the kid takes her inside, devastated.
Yeah.
This cool girlfriend, like he could put up with all of it for this little piece of oasis, as it were.
It cracks him, basically. In quite a harrowing way.
And I guess he just stops eating, stops responding, and the mum just keep hitting that button. We just get stuck back on that Wednesday go, which is, on retrospect, kind of a nice twist. Like we did the map of tiny perfect things, and we talked about Groundhog Day and Palm Springs, but the idea that someone else is controlling it and they can let you move on, but bring you back to this. Like in this kind of cruel sense.
No matter what you do, you cannot escape it, as we find out with his subsequent actions of starving himself, trying to, well, in essence, he slices his wrists in one scene, doesn't he?
He kind of goes on a suicide spree, and the mum can just hit that button. Boom. And he keeps waking up, and she's cracking more because she has to keep watching her son die. Every time he acts like he's okay, she'll turn around and he will just flat out jump out the window and she'll start
Mm-hmm.
crying. Hit that
Mm-hmm.
button.
Boom, boom, boom.
And so there's just no escape. The light was already out in his eyes.
Mm.
And then we get the jump.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
We jump to mid-30s.
Yes, I would say
late
that.
20s, mid-30s. He's a
Mm-hmm.
successful guy in a suit. He's kind of
Yep.
handsome and thin, and he looks kind of well off.
Yeah.
He just made it, right? Like the mum's educationally, work-wise, financially.
Well, he had no choice, basically.
He's about
it was
80.
the only
He's
outcome
about 80
in his
for
life.
because she kept sending him back. And he's got this partner, and we instantly like get the idea that like the mum does not approve of her.
No.
I guess life just went on, and eventually they got past the spate of suicides, and he had no choice, right? So he had to just play ball, and he seems pretty well rounded, but there's an echo of trauma in him.
Yeah, and I guess it's because this is the bit that doesn't really explain itself at all, in that how he's ended up with a girl that she's not overly keen on. I guess they got too far down the line for the mum to want to reset it all again. Maybe.
Because they don't live together, and although they're in a lot of contact and she's still controlling, I think just like they're quite shielded from each other.
And she does.
And the mother.
Yeah, there's a brief conversation where he says, "Are you coming around for dinner or something like that?" And she goes, "No, I don't think I will, because your mum doesn't like me very much." He goes, "Oh, she doesn't not like you?" And he goes, "Oh, no, it's something that only females know."
and he does know. I don't know why he's faking that. And what was it like? She said, "Oh no," she said, "You're pretty and free spirited." And she's like, "Yeah, but that's not a compliment from your mum. That's like the things he doesn't like about me."
Yeah, that's it.
Like he goes to meet the mum for a meal, and she's like, "Oh, like 2 of my friends are coming." Buy a scarf. I guess that's detail that doesn't add up, but he's just silly in thrall. He kind of does what she says.
Yeah.
And then this sort of a young, pretty woman rocks up, and it's like, "Oh, this is a coincidence. What are you doing here?" Like, and basically the mum is just in the face of knowing that he's sort of with a partner, is still setting her up.
Yeah. And as her mother, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, we have this sort of awkward dinner, and it's pretty obvious. But there's a nice twist to this when they're alone later on. Like this other acceptable pretty lady is sort of like, "Yep, I live with my partner too. My parents just deny her because she's gay, and we've just both in an awkward situation where our parents deny our lives."
Yep.
And I try to do this controlling thing. I guess I don't know what this brings to the episode.
No.
If I'm honest. Like, I get it, like, geez, he's in his 30s and he's still
under the
not
thumb.
free. I guess she brings up the conversation, like, what did you always think life would be this way?
Yeah.
Which sort of enthralls him to go home, and we just have this flashback about what the young girlfriend of his said she would do. So he sort of detectives the university she said she'd go to, basically finds her online.
Yeah, on Facebook.
Kind of shade to his current girlfriend. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because of how we go on, because he just sort of can't stop thinking about her, right?
Yeah.
He gets the mum like a cruise ship.
Yeah, he pays for a European trip for his mum to go and experience 2 weeks jet setting around Europe and having a whale of a time, which she, agrees to.
When she's on the way to the airport, he sort of go to the house, and I guess a detail we slipped out was that the remote control is always in a safe in her bedroom, and we see him like trying to crack the safe. I don't know what spurned this. There was no reference to this when they had the meal with the mum, right? At no point was she like, "I could take you back again."
Nope.
And for us, the audience, we don't even know if this remote worked at this point.
It's just
we've just had a jump forward in time. So the mum like turns around from the airport for some reason.
She's forgotten her passport.
Which is not believable. She was a pretty
on the point.
Yeah. And I just felt like that guy could have waited till her flight picked off the ground. You almost drive her to the airport yourself.
She's going away for 2 weeks. Why are you jumping in right away?
Like 10 minutes after she left. But
have you not seen every film ever?
But so she comes back and it's like, "Oh, what are you doing here? What's that in your hand?" like across a road, they're talking. And so he's got the remote. He says, "This isn't your remote. This is mine." I mean, at no point is he making to smash it up, right? They're just arguing over the street. And she's saying, "You think you're the only one?" This conversation would have been nice if we'd given any sympathetic side to her. Like at this late juncture, it's kind of too late, right?
Yep, completely agree.
So they're fighting. And can you explain what happens next? I don't know why he runs across the street.
I don't know. He's kind of he kind of walks towards her, holding the remote at her, and I'm thinking he's going to zap her and send her life back in time or something.
Oh no, I wasn't thinking that. But yeah, that would have been good.
And but what actually happens is
the fool doesn't do the old look left twice, look right.
Yeah.
And a bus comes out of nowhere, and he just turns very quickly and hits the button.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he did not mean to run in front of that bus.
No.
Because he could have hit the button anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know where that bus came from. And he wakes up as the kid again.
He wakes up and then you have another montage of
he goes to meet the young girl
in the library and he's crying.
I don't know if he now has the remote.
No, nor do I.
Is the remote back now in
mother's care or in anybody's care?
The safe, and also he's a little boy.
Yeah.
He's 40. So anyway, before we go into that, yeah, he runs to the library, he sees the girl, and he just has tears of joy.
Yeah.
And we fade to the end with happy music. With happy music.
With happy music.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. The whole show is fine. Like, and so that's the episode 1. I guess.
Children.
Yeah. I don't know if it sort of states that being like a 35-year-old and now seeing some free-spirited, probably for 35-year-old, irritating 16-year-old, he left her anyway because he was an adult in a child's body. He went on to become a child tech genius because he was a 35-year-old. But that's not important, right? It was all about more than that. This is, without a doubt, a statement on the pressures of kids. Yeah, I guess one thing I liked, we talked about this before, I think, when I was talking about my reading habits at that age. I was reading, like, not fan fiction, but the Star Wars tie-in novels. I had a few friends who read it, but we've done a lot of Stephen King, and a lot of my friends who have read Stephen King in the past were kind of around that age. And I was reading Star Wars and Star Trek. I guess I loved the TV show and the film, so I was just reading. I didn't know how to expand my reading, so I just read what you know and enjoy.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Anyway, I guess my point was school was endless to me. Even in my final year, where going to college was your choice, like a few months before GCSEs, I just still felt endless. It didn't click that you're not going to be coming here next year.
Yeah.
It was just week after week, day after day, term after term, year after year.
That was life.
I didn't comprehend that. I was like, I didn't even think, you don't get a summer holiday when you're an adult. You You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was something nice that this show reminded me of I guess the repetition. That's quite the right word, but certainly part of it. And just a feeling, especially when you're young. I think we talked about this in an episode the other day, where you feel like you're the center of the earth.
Yes, exactly that. Yeah,
in a sense, and but no control or view of time. Now, as an adult, if you'd come in and you're watching too much TV, and when you're a parent, you'd be like, "Yeah, you're wasting your life." You got to get out and enjoy the day. Like, I kind of get it now. It's for sure. I think it's something you have to learn for yourself.
Yes,
it all makes sense in adult life.
Yeah,
the lessons that were trying to talk to you, but you were too young to understand. Partly because time was just infinite, and especially now having a 9 to 6 job with at times a lot of overtime. How short school was. What time does school finish? 3:30, 4?
Yeah, 3:30. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
with the breaks.
Yeah,
and I went to a Catholic school, so one of our lessons was like RE, religious education. So that was sort of kind of a mess around period. For most of it, I didn't really take art seriously because it was just fun. So I never really. We try to learn the techniques, but even though I sort of do appreciate it now, at the time it was again just another free lesson to goof around. every report day. It's funny, not that long ago, I was home organizing my stuff and I found all my old report cards.
Oh, wow.
And having a flip through, they're identical.
Really?
Nice chap, doesn't shut up, very easily distracted, needs to
Yeah.
concentrate and work harder. There's like, I don't know, 6-7 years of that. Every
Yeah.
history, science, every single lesson, every teacher pretty much carbon copy that statement
Mm-hmm.
all the way through. That's my memories of school.
There is for me, possibly sort of, what's the word, a cultural relevance to the show that maybe is lost on me, where, you know, the importance that it comes across in especially the sort of Asian cultures in
I certainly think
the
that part of
pressure.
it. I know. I guess you're right. I don't know too much about like the Taiwanese tradition, but certainly in Japan, education is very serious.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not. Maybe it should be. I don't know. I mean, those countries are very successful for a reason, and possibly that's part of it. But it's definitely not. The pressures are definitely not as prevalent over here on the majority of students. I mean, there probably are some, but
I guess I'll never forget that scene in, I think it's Bowling for Columbine, the Michael Moore documentary about the Columbine shooting, and I think it's one of the South Park guys, because he went to that school or a very similar school, and he was just saying it's like at such a young age, it's just drilled into you that life is over if you don't get those grades. You know what I mean? Like if you come out of school with nothing, what are you going to do? And I just always remember that clip. And as an adult myself, who I just said did not do well at school, like it took me a long time to find myself as in a career and what I was going to do. I just kind of got there. You know what I mean? We all got there.
Yeah, no, same here. I
And
didn't have any idea, and I don't even know how I ended up here. You know, as a lecturer or a you know, technician and lecturer to workshops and stuff like that, deliverer of workshops at a university. Like, feel like, you know, those cats that land on their feet. Well, I was one of those cats, and I fell for a very, very, very long time, and then all of a sudden the ground met my feet, and I landed on my feet, and it's like, whoa, bloody hell! All right, cool, okay, I'll do this then. Up until that point, I had no idea. I just fell.
So, did you enjoy this episode? It was
I
long. It was
it
long,
was
man.
it was long. I was like, oh, Scott, what have you done?
I
You
had to
got
text you
5
going.
episodes of an hour and 40 minutes each episode. I was like, shit. Yeah, I did. I paused it a couple of times because it's subtitled, and I watched it with subtitles.
There's
I
no
found
option.
myself switching off and not reading the subtitles or looking at something else in the room and missing some texts.
Yeah,
So I'd rewind it back.
I missed little bits too.
And so these are the things I liked about it. I loved the Groundhog Day style control, like you said earlier on about somebody controlling the Groundhog Day. That was nifty and new. I thought the acting was really good. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the acting, and I liked the way it was shot. Some of the montage sequences and the dream sequences where they're all playing in the sea and stuff like that were really, really well done. But it just didn't do enough with its central theme, or it did enough with its central theme, but it just did it for too long.
Yeah, did it not feel stretched out?
Yeah,
like they could have just made it more pithy with just some sharper editing. And it's a pretty joyless episode.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like there's
apart
not
from the
much
moments
humor.
with the little girl, no.
But those are nice, but there's not much humor in this.
No.
There's no black comedy moments.
It's just black.
And I guess it's a bit exhausting watching that one kid be miserable on an hour and a half. And he does a good job.
He gets progressively more miserable, doesn't he? You know, like when he got to the point where he was killing himself over and over, not eating, and his mother's trying to spoon feed him porridge, and I was just like, oh Jesus, I could, like, that's hard.
I guess that's where the show peaked at its best for me. I guess like I was most paying attention because I didn't keep pausing it like you, but I was constantly sort of pushing the button that shows you how far in you are and going, right, oh God, there's like an hour to go.
Chapter checking is what I call it when I'm reading. Yeah.
Right, which isn't a good sign.
No. So are we gonna rate these out of 10 or 5 or?
As in, just how good was it?
Yeah.
Because it's odd just going through it now. It's like, yeah, that wasn't a bad episode. But I'm like, no, because you just watched it last night.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a bad episode. Like, I guess it's fun to talk about. Okay, what's the rating? 1 to 5?
Yeah, 1 to 5. Okay.
All right.
I will give it a 2.5.
Yeah, that's a good call. I'm giving it a 2 because if someone said, "Oh, is it good? Shall I watch it?" Would you tell anyone to watch this?
No, depends on the person. Majority of people I know, no. I wouldn't even mention that I'd seen it, but there will be certain people in my circle that I may say, yeah, you might like this.
Because if we weren't doing it for the podcast, I don't think I would have had the patience to make it through.
Oh, okay.
Even though I'm glad we did.
I would have recommended it to you.
Because at one point, I was going to message you going, abort, we'll find something else.
Jettison.
But you'd messaged me first, said, I'd seen the show. I was like, damn it.
Yeah.
But I must admit, I read a tiny synopsis of the next episode. And now it sounds odd. For some reason, knowing that this was like 2 parts condensed into one, I'm sort of excited to carry on.
No, I am.
I thought there was 10 episodes, and now oh no, there's 5.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking they're an hour and a half long. They're 10 episodes. I've got to talk to Toby for an hour. Then we're probably going to spend 5 hours editing per episode or something. I don't know. Maybe we can do a lost episodes where all the things that don't add up go. But but now it's 5 episodes for this season.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm down for sticking it out, and I did. Yeah, there was. I think same as you. Around the 20-minute, half an hour mark, I looked at the clock and I was like, oh my god, this is just do something new with this now, please. And then it did, but it wasn't a massive amount of new, but it was just enough new to keep my interest.
It's very melodramatic, even though we're talking about like a 16-year-old repetitively suiciding, and these things are harrowing. Like just to actually stop and think about these things, it is like, Jesus, that is harrowing. No matter how
that's what kept me. That's what kept me going, was the putting myself in that position and just thinking, flipping heck. No wonder you react in this way. That is really hard to live the same day every day.
Wow. Especially when it's a miserable day, especially when you're a kid with no control, right?
You're going home to a controlling mum. You know that nothing you do is going to be good enough until she's happy, and you're just going to have to redo it. I
guess that's something outside of the length and stuff. Giving like I said, giving the mother something sympathetic would have been nice. Having that last conversation across the street, her saying, "It's not just you, it's me," means something more. Because at no point does it feel like she's learned that lesson.
No, she was. I was like, she's dead to me at that point.
After the suiciding, it was like they're gonna have to sit down and have a serious conversation about what to expect from him. But no, she just stuck to her guns and plowed through like the most grimmest depression you can sort of imagine, right? Like, I mean, like I said, I sort of failed all my testing exams. I could have done one of those. Just cram harder. I kind of thought they could have been smart and just let him live his life up until the day of the exam, and then we'll just keep sending you back because you're going to know what the exam questions are. Like they used it to cheat the system, basically. Yeah. Which I guess that's not the point.
No.
All right, episode 1 on children, Mother's Remote.
You'll find it on Netflix, both in the UK and Canada.
Check.
Possibly some of the others.
Like I said, I was going to say check it out, but just
it's up to you.
Be happy with this review, and we've spoiled it all for you.
Yeah, so you don't really need to check it out. We've done you a favor. Hopefully, this has been a better version than the version we watched on Netflix.
Have you at home listening to this seen it? What did you think? Do you have another show that isn't particularly massively lengthy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the end of this one before we
Brilliant. Okay, well there you go. Yes, on children.
wrap it up around there. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. Join us again next episode, and until then, have a great day.